Bo Nix. Wow, what a name to say. For the people that have been following college football, you guys all know about the storied career of Bo Nix. Just whoa. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Bo Nix having an incredible opportunity to make a statement game for number 8 ranked Oregon, as they will be going up against number 13 ranked Utah. With Oregon already losing a game in the Pac-12 this season, a win over Utah would be really needed. Bo Nix has been fantastic for Oregon this season, but they will need their best efforts from their whole team if they want to beat Utah this Saturday. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Will Bo Nix bring Oregon to a win over Utah? I believe that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a good game between Oregon and Utah. Don't sleep on Utah. Utah has a 6-1 record this season, just like Oregon, and they're doing this without their starting quarterback. I mean, their quarterback Bryson Barnes has had a pretty good year for Utah, and for what Utah has been able to do without Cam Rising at the quarterback position, just an incredible job. The way that Utah has rallied around their backup quarterback, I want to give them a special congrats to them. But as far as whether or not they're going to beat Oregon this weekend, nah, that's not going to happen. They're not going to beat Oregon. You know why they're not going to beat Oregon? Because Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Yeah, Utah's quarterback can play his best game all he can want, but he's not going to outplay Bo Nix. Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's fantastic. He throws a good deep ball. He's accurate with the football. He's super experienced. Okay, you look at Oregon's schedule, they pretty much got to win out if they want to make it to the Pac-12 title game. I believe that they will win out. I believe that they will get to the title game. Not only are they going to get to the title game, I think they're going to win out as well. I think they're going to end up winning the Pac-12 championship. They were my pick to win the Pac-12 before the year started, and I haven't changed my mind on that. And all these people were telling me, oh, why didn't you pick USC? Haven't you forgotten about Caleb Williams? Isn't Caleb Williams the best quarterback in the country? And I'm like, yeah, he's really good, but guess what? The whole team around Caleb Williams is not good. USC's football team is not that good. That team almost freaking lost to Colorado, for goodness sake. Colorado is one of the most overrated teams in all of college football. The only reason why people care about Colorado is because of Deion Sanders. If it wasn't for Deion Sanders, no one would have cared they beat Colorado. That's just the reality of the situation. I mean, you want to talk about Pac-12 standings, Oregon is right amongst the elite teams in the Pac-12. It's the best conference in football this year. Usually we say that for the SEC, but if we're talking about the 2023 collegiate season, then we got to say that Pac-12 football has been the best type of football to watch this year. I mean, obviously you got Washington, they're 4-0 in conference play. They've been really good. Shout out to Michael Penix. He's been having a fantastic year. He is probably the front runner to win the Heisman Trophy right now. I'm not saying that he's going to end up winning it, but I'm saying if the season ended today, he would probably be a very strong candidate to win that award. And then of course in second place you got USC with a 4-1 record. I don't believe USC will hold on to second place though in the conference because of the fact that they don't play any defense whatsoever, and every time they get into a close game, it seems like their special teams is going to be a liability. And then you got Oregon at 3-1 in conference play. They're right behind USC. They basically have one loss each. And then there's Oregon State. They also got one loss as well. And then you got Utah at 3-1 in conference play. You want to talk about Pac-12 standings right now? There's 5 good football teams vying for 2 spots in the Pac-12 championship game. I think Washington is a lock to make it to the Pac-12 championship game. They play a little bit of defense. Their offense is elite. They're one of the top teams in the country. I think that Washington has been extremely underrated this year. I don't think enough people have given them love. I think Washington has been very effective with what they've been able to do this year, especially creating an identity within itself. So obviously I think Washington's going to be there. And then the second spot, it's going to be interesting because Oregon's got a round robin of teams to go ahead and beat because they still have USC left on the schedule. They still have Oregon State left on their schedule. And then they got Utah as well this upcoming Saturday. Now, I think that Oregon's going to end up beating all 3 of these teams, but if they don't beat one of these 3 teams, they're probably not going to get to the Pac-12 championship game. Now, as far as the championship matchup, I think that it's going to be Washington versus Oregon. And let's talk about Oregon's schedule while we're at it. Let's talk about Bo freaking Nix. Bo Nix is a freaking beast, man. Bo Nix has been so good for Oregon this year. I mean, you want to talk about a dude that's completing 78.4% of his passes. He's thrown 19 touchdowns, only thrown 1 interception. I mean, Bo Nix has been excellent for them, and this game looks like it's just going too slow for him in the sense that, wow, this game is just really easy for him. His least accurate game came against Washington State, where he only completed 72% of his passes. Yeah, that's his worst game in terms of accuracy. When you have a quarterback that's worst game is accuracy is 72%, you know what? That means that your quarterback's having a really good year, and that's exactly what Bo Nix has done. I think Bo Nix is going to end up winning the Heisman Trophy when it's all said and done this year. I think that he's just got to finish the season really strongly, and he's obviously got to go ahead and win out. But I believe he's going to go ahead and do that. I believe he's going to have a big game against Utah because Oregon has one of the best offenses in the country. I don't see how Utah's defense is going to be able to slow down Oregon's offense. And when you talk about the remaining games that Oregon has left, okay, they They got number 13 ranked Utah. They're going to be playing in a hostile environment in Utah, but obviously I believe that Bo Nix is going to come up big in that game. I believe that Bo Nix is going to play great football against Utah, and he's going to be able to elevate them to a win. Then they get to play against Cal at home. That should be a win. And then they get to play against number 24 ranked USC. That should be a win as well. Even though that Caleb Williams is an elite quarterback and the best quarterback in the country, I mean, you have to look at the rest of the USC's roster and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this roster is awful. They don't play any defense whatsoever. Their kicking game is not good either. I mean, Oregon clears USC outside of quarterback, but it's not even like Oregon has a bad quarterback. Oregon has a top tier quarterback. They simply don't have the best quarterback in the country. And then they play against Arizona State. At Arizona State, they can't overlook that game, but I think that game's going to be a win as well. And then they get to play against Oregon State at home, and that's probably going to decide whether or not they will go to the Pac-12 championship game. I believe that they will end up being Oregon State, though, even though their quarterbacks had a really good year. He's not better than Bo Nix. Oregon has the best quarterback in each of those games that they're going to be going up against, with the exception of USC. But in USC's case, their roster is just not good enough to compete for the college football playoff right now, or even necessarily in the Pac-12. I feel really confident about this Oregon roster in general, particularly their offense. Obviously, Bo Nix, he's been elite with the football. He's been super accurate with it. Then, of course, the running game, they got Bucky Irving, Jordan James, and Noah Whittington. I feel pretty good about the running game. Obviously, Bucky Irving also contributes in the receiving game as well. He's been a little bit of do everything at the running back position, so I think he's had an underrated year as well. You look at the receivers, Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson, Gary Bryant Jr., and Trayshawn Holden. They got a pretty good core. You want to talk about getting wide receivers to football. These are the wide receivers that have been really good for Oregon, and they've been doing a good job making Bo Nix look like a good quarterback. Obviously, their tight end room is pretty good as well. They got Terrence Ferguson and Patrick Herbert, so their offense is pretty loaded. Their O-line's been good. Their O-line has given Bo Nix time to throw the football. The only reason they lost the first game of the year the way that they did was because they got to play against Washington, and that was a 50-50 game. That game could have gone either way. Oregon and Washington are the two best teams in the Pac-12. As far as what I think the final score is going to be, I think Oregon will end up beating Utah by the score of 38-34. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that Utah is going to have a good game offensively, but I think the difference is going to be Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is just going to have a better game. He's going to be the best player on the field. That's why I envision happening. So that is why Bo Nix will bring Oregon a much-needed win over Utah, as that will put them in good position to make the Pac-12 championship game this season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm going to shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.